Welcome to Reignite Your Life, Women 50 Plus. It's time to reboot and revolutionize your midlife with passion, purpose, and possibility. Your host for this event is international transformative coach and facilitator, relationship coach, health and wellness coach, and filmmaker, Jeannie Bird.
Welcome to Reignite Your Life, Women 50 Plus. It is time to reboot and revolutionize your midlife. I'm Jeannie Bird, and as a transformative coach and facilitator, I am committed to inspiring women to access their deepest desires, especially in midlife, so that their second act can be filled with passion, purpose, and possibility. And in order to facilitate just that, today I have an amazing speaker, Ginger Burr, and she is a total image consultant. So Ginger, before I speak all about your amazing things that you have been up to in your life, I wonder if you just say hello to our viewers.
Hello, I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you, Jeannie.
So happy to have you. So everyone, for 27 years, Ginger, president of Total Image Consultants, has found that many women are ignoring, hiding, or simply unaware of their own innate beauty. And with a heartfelt belief that whether you are 25 or 85, you deserve to feel radiant and pulled together. And Ginger has helped women from all over the world and in all walks of life create a wardrobe that they love. And the key is guiding them to connect with their inner essence and learn to reflect who they are through the clothing that they wear. And her approach to fashion has led her to be interviewed by Forbes magazine, Worth magazine, and Fox TV News, and Bloomberg Business Week. She is also the author of the book, That's So You, Creating a Look You Love with Beauty, Style, and Grace. And Ginger is obviously the epitome of beauty, style, and grace. So Ginger, let's just launch into our questions.
Happy to do that, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I love the way you say the name of my book. With such gusto, I love it.
Okay, so in light of our summit here, I'd love you to answer the question. So what has reignited your life as a 50-plus woman?
Well, in my 40s, I was plagued, if you will, by some health issues, and I also by some very traumatic losses. My 40s were a difficult time. And so when 50 came around, I viewed it as a way to be healthy. I had been working throughout my 40s to feel really good and healthy naturally. And also to go through I went through the whole grieving process. And so I saw my 50s as a time to bring my passion and my good health and my just aliveness and feel and express it out there in the world. So I just saw the 50s as a time of renewal.
Yes. I love that. Renewal and reignition,
Right.
That's wonderful.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So what message do you have for a lot of us women in this age range who are kind of discouraged about the way they look?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head, and that is the whole discouragement part. And my goal in what I do, and I've been doing this, as you mentioned, for 27, 28 years. So since I was 30, it's a different world now. And as we get older, we tend to be neglected by the fashion world that's out there. Our bodies tend to change so that we feel like we don't know ourselves. And so it's easy to walk into a store and walk around, particularly if it's a store you've always shopped at, and think, I don't know, nothing here works for me. I feel fat, I feel ugly, I feel old. And to leave feeling so discouraged and bordering on hopeless. And my message for women over 50, actually women of all ages, but women over 50 is what we're talking about here, is don't give up. There is hope. And it's a matter of, like anything else, we have to learn about ourselves. We have to learn tools that will help us to work with the body that we have now, work with the age that we have now, work with the fashions that are out there, no matter how wacky they might be. We have to learn how to navigate all of that, because you know what? I have clients in their 80s. We can look good at any age. I have a friend, she's not a client, I have a friend of mine who's 99. She's turning 100 in a couple of months.
Wow, yay!
I mean, she is effervescent and passionate, and that's what we all deserve. And life is not over at 50. Life is really just beginning, because we have that wisdom that we've gained through all the years up until then, and we have the potential to look and feel as great as we did, or even better than we did 10, 20, or 30 years ago. So please just don't give up hope. This summit that you're doing here, our conversation today, all of these are designed to help move you in a direction that makes you realize that life is great, and our 50s are a time to celebrate.
Yay. Oh, Ginger, thank you. That's so inspiring. I'm so grateful for that beautiful answer. So let's talk about the inner journey and the outer journey. So when women come to you, you identify the inner obstacles that they have that are then outpicturing in their outer world. Can you talk more about that?
Yes, this is something that I've been working on for years, because what I realized in the beginning few years of my business was, you know what, I could dress someone or help them dress in a way that they looked beautiful. But if it didn't resonate with who they were on the inside, no matter how great they looked on the outside, it was all for naught. It really didn't matter. They didn't feel any better really than they did dressed in schlumpy clothes. It's all about how we look, how we feel about ourselves on the inside. And you know, as we're growing up, we get most of us anyway, sadly, get a lot of messages about who we are from other people. And
Right.
I have a virtual program that I created a few years ago called Who Taught You How to Dress? And that program, in there's an entire chapter on what I've termed hurtful comments and unwanted advice. And the reason I called it that is I did a poll a number of years ago, just to check in with all of my readers to find out what were the messages that you got as a younger person, whether it was 5 years ago or 50 years ago, that have affected your self-esteem, your sense of self, your sense of how you want to present yourself in the world. And, you know, I guess some people who said, oh, you know, everything was very positive and I was really built up by my family and my friends and society. But, you know, I got a lot of women who said, not so much. That they heard things like there was one woman who said, when I was a kid, I overheard one of my aunts say to my mother that it was a good thing I was smart, as I wasn't very pretty. It made me feel as if I had no right to try to look pretty. It was always out of my reach. Heartbreaking. And this woman, when she wrote this to me, was in her 40s. So this was someone who had held on to all of this energy for decades. And there was another woman who said, something as simple as this, we really have to pay attention to how we speak to each other.
Right.
And I think as we get older, hopefully we're more aware of that. But one woman was even told by someone, smile, you're much prettier when you smile. Well, you know, that's nice, but it means that she's not pretty when she doesn't smile.
Yeah.
Our words are so powerful,
Yeah.
and they can build someone up or they can break someone down. And we have a tendency, particularly as women, to remember the things that are negative. I mean, if you ask any woman out there, and I do this constantly because of the work that I'm in, you know, what are the things about your body that you don't like? Oh, my goodness. They could go on for 20 minutes, at least. And then if I ask them, so what are the things about your body that you do like? And they have to think a lot of times, or they can come up with one or two things, but they harp on the things And I've done it, and maybe you've done
We've
it.
all done it, yeah.
Right. We harp on the things about ourselves that we don't like, or that someone has called into question or said negative things about. And those are the inner obstacles. Those are some of the inner obstacles. There are a number of them that can really keep us from feeling great about how we look every day and having that energy. We each deserve to, we all can look great, or we all do look great, and that we all are beautiful. And it's really learning to express that from the inside to the outside that will change your life forever. There's no doubt about it. It will change your life. But we have to let go. If you've had hurtful comments and unwanted advice in your life, we have to learn a way to let go of those. We have to bless them, whoever said them, and just say, you know what, that's not true for me anymore, and let it go.
Right, because in the work that I do, we really talk about the meanings that we made as children about what was said to us or what the behavior was that we identified it, in a certain way. So we then organized our life around that as being true, when in fact, it's not true. It was somebody else's misguided or ignorant perception. So
Right.
if we can find within ourselves to really love ourselves, then literally we can radiate that
Yes.
beauty from within.
Yes. And at least accept ourselves. And
Yeah.
I also find that if we can learn, if there's a part of our body we don't love, if we can learn either how to circumvent it or actually learn how to dress it in a way that makes it not as noticeable to us, then we are less likely to focus on it and be brought down by it. So there are tools that we can use in creating a look that can help us to bypass some of those things that we parts of our body that we're not as wild about, because we all have them.
Right, right. So we've pretty much identified that we need to blend the inner and the outer so that we can then, look at ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, let's go for it. This is a project that we are going to love.
Yes.
So now, and then they come to you, Ginger. So what are you going to do with the woman who gets up in the morning and is not happy with the image that she sees in the mirror?
Right. Exactly. The very first thing that we do together always is what I call an inner beauty consultation. And that is, it takes privately, it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do it. And I can give you a little sampling of it here today that's actually kind of fun. It's about identifying inner beauty words, words that express who you are, nothing to do with your clothes, nothing. Um, who are you? What makes you special? And it can be things. Well, I can show you some examples in a minute if you want to. But
Sure.
how about if we do a short exercise?
Okay.
Great. All right. So what I'm going to do normally, this list of words that I work with my clients on is over 300. But I'm going to read you a list of adjectives, positive adjectives, about 50 of them. And I'm just asking everyone who's listening to please just close your eyes for a minute, listen to these words, and choose a word that really feels like it's you deep down inside. Or if you don't hear one here and another word occurs to you, because like I said, usually I'm working with 300 words, choose a word that feels like it's you. And even if it feels big, even if it feels a little not modest or humble, you never have to say this word out loud to anybody ever in your life. It can be your little secret. So, just take it and run with it. But let me read these words and just close your eyes and listen and see if one resonates with you. So, are you determined, playful, uncommon, charming, sweet, powerful, gracious, passionate, nonconformist, cheerful, centered, feisty, funny, sophisticated, sensitive, bold, direct, sparkling, mysterious, smart, witty, joyful, energetic, serene, gentle, approachable, radiant, animated, dynamic, down to earth, free spirited, glowing, classy, vibrant, not to be messed with, lovely, soulful, refined, private, spirited, or zesty. So that's a lot of
It's a
words.
lot of words.
And that's only a small sampling. But if you were somebody, can I show you some examples of what this can
Sure.
do?
Yes.
So for instance, let's look at, so here we have, let me put it right here. Can you see that okay, Jeannie?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. Beautiful.
So this is Diane. And when you see Diane here, she's dressed in black and gray. Now, raise your hand if you've focused your whole wardrobe around black and gray. Because so many women do, and we can talk about that later if you want to. But it's not something that suits her. It doesn't suit her coloring. And also, all my clients get 4 inner beauty words. So just to share 2 of hers, one is fun, and the other is that she's a delicate natural beauty. We use that as a word, delicate natural beauty. So when you look at this coloring right here, does she look fun or like a delicate natural beauty?
No.
Not so much. But over here, you can even see it in her attitude. And I try to get people to kind of smile the same and all of that.
Just make it move over a little bit to your right. There we go. We can see the pink.
Yeah,
right. Beautiful.
So you can see when we put her in softer colors that have that delicate quality, and we give her some sparkle, and she just feels like $1,000,000. So that's just one example of, I have lots of them, and there are many on my website that can show you that when you really express who you are on the inside, whether you're passionate or you're sophisticated or you're joyful or you're serene, whatever it is, it has to be reflected in the clothing choices that you make. That is the only way that you will ever feel completely satisfied with how you're presenting yourself to the world.
Right. I love that because it really goes to the inner outer. That's that beautiful blend that you're speaking of.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
So what would you say to the woman who's going out and she's shopping, like the example you just showed us with the black and the gray? How would you gently guide her? Now you're armed with the words, she knows that now. So what's the physical, shopping spree going to be like? How do you guide them through that day?
Well, first of all, of course, we have to find out what's their lifestyle like. So, what do you do in your life on a day-to-day basis? What are the things that you need clothes for? And then are there things that you just totally hate? Do you not like anything tied up around your neck? So we're not going to put you in a turtleneck and probably maybe not scarves. Or do you never wear skirts or you always wear skirts? I need to know those kinds of things.
Sure.
Do you have restrictions in the shoes that you can wear and that kind of thing? And then it's really important that I encourage each woman that I work with, or even women I don't work with, to have 2 to 4 stores that you can shop at pretty successfully. And the reason I recommend not just one is that what if that store gets a new buyer, like Ann Taylor did a few years ago, or Talbot's did not too long ago, and they change everything, and then you're stuck because it was where you always shopped, and now they don't make anything that you like. So it's important to explore stores that really speak to who you are, your coloring, your lifestyle, and your budget. Very, really important. You're not going to shop, at Neiman Marcus if, Macy's is more your speed or the other way around. It's really important to have all of that lined up for you. And then when you go to the store, the way that I tell people, whether I'm shopping with them or they're shopping on their own, is start by looking for colors. By looking at colors that really look amazing on you. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you walk into a store. So many women say, I hate to shop. I go to the store, there are too many options. I pull out 10,000 things, and by the time 2 hours has gone by, I'm like a dish rag because I can't decide what works and I can't decide what doesn't, and it's overpowering. But if you can focus on color, and the thing about this is if you're not sure what colors look good on you, because a lot of women will default to black and gray because they just don't know what else works. Right. I'm going to give you 4 colors that work on a lot of women. One is forest green. So a really deep, kind of like your deep leaf color in the background of your screen right there. So a deep forest green works on a lot of women. A rich teal, so a little darker than the one of the women standing over there that you have on your background.
Right.
That deep teal looks so yummy, and with your eyes, oh my gosh, I hope you wear a lot of teal because just an amazing color for you. Um, a deep periwinkle, and notice I am saying deep
Oh,
because the deeper colors tend to look better on a lot of people than really pastel colors do, or super, super bright colors. So a
right.
deep periwinkle, like the color that's like a blue purple, like a deep
Right.
blue purple hydrangea, or watermelon. That color
Watermelon.
that's kind of pink with a little bit of warmth in it, so a
Right.
lot of people can wear that and look good. So if when you walk into a store, if you don't know what colors look good on you, if you look for racks that contain one of those colors, then it makes the shopping experience so much easier. And then you can go over and say, oh, look, I found something in periwinkle. Oh, I like the style, I like the fabric, it'll go with my pants, it fits me. Then you can start to address all the other things that you want to think about when you're putting together a wardrobe. But color is always the place that I have someone start.
Right. So, what do you think about the tip that I've always heard is that when you buy a piece of clothing, you really want to make sure that it goes with two or three or four other things that already exist in your wardrobe so that you're, essentially getting more bang for your buck. Is that accurate in your world?
It is women who buy orphaned pieces.
Or
Yes,
I
that
like
is
that
the
term.
number one mistake that we as women, and I don't know if men do this or not, but we as women tend to make is we'll go out and we'll find this one thing that we think, oh, isn't this so pretty? I love this. And then if you go home and you have nothing in your closet that works with it and you didn't buy anything else to go with it, it sits there. So you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. If you find something that you totally love and you want to buy, you have to go through your head and think, yes, I have the right pants to go with it, or top to go under it, or shoes, or whatever it is that you need to make it work. Or stay in the store and find something you love. It has to be something you love that will go with it to complete the outfit. And if you're somebody who knows you're willing to return, you can't remember if you have something that goes with it at home, or you need to go home and play with it a little bit. I give you permission. I give you permission to buy it and take it home and play with it, as long as you promise that if it doesn't work with anything in your closet, you will return it.
Right.
So absolutely right. It's a great way to waste money, and also just to beat yourself up because you've got something in your closet that you're not wearing. So you absolutely have to make sure you can complete the outfit.
Yes, that's really helpful. Yes, I know. I'm so guilty of, first of all, I don't return because I just don't have the time.
Right.
So, in line with that, as the world is changing, and, we just went through Cyber Monday earlier in the week. So, how do you navigate that, Ginger? People who are buying their clothes online, not trying them on, not really sure of the colors necessarily by the pictures. So, what are you doing about that in your business?
Well, first off, for me, my personal wardrobe, I have almost stopped buying any clothes online, because you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't see how it fits. And I will return, but I hate to return. I hate taking that time or spending the postage or just getting it to the post office if the postage for return is free. I don't like doing it. And I feel like it's a waste of my time. That's just me. I have some clients who, one client in particular, she's a riot. She'll ask my opinion about like what type of shoes she should get to go with a particular thing. She'll go and buy like 15 pairs of shoes that fit basically the parameters that I send to her. And then she'll bring them over to my studio and say, which pair should I keep? And then she's willing to return 12 or 13 or 14 pairs of shoes, or 15 if none of them work, and send them back. So it depends. You mentioned it earlier. You have to be willing to return things. I also find that online shopping works best if you either know the store or designer really well. So you know what fits you generally in their sizes, and you think that they're pretty um, accurate in the coloring that you see online, because there are some online stores that you get it and you thought it was apple green and it turns out to be olive green, and there's a big difference between apple and olive
Yes,
green.
on your
Yeah,
skin for sure.
right. Yes, totally. So online shopping is great and horrible all at once. It all depends on your own personal willingness to return things and also just to be disappointed. I find that most people that I know who do online shopping, if they're lucky, they have a 50% success rate. And so some people think that's really good. They see it as half full and they're willing to return the other half. And some people are like, wow, I'd rather just go to the store and try it on. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Online shopping is one of those tricky ones, and it's a very personal decision. It also is somewhat limiting, and I have had some women who come to me because they found that they are buying online, but there's only so much that you can find online. You can find it in all the major retailers, but sometimes some of the fun things or things that are a little bit different or quirky or that you wouldn't find in the regular stores are at some of the smaller boutiques or off-price stores or consignment stores where you can't buy online. So I believe in having a mix of the two, but I rarely recommend that someone only do online shopping. And I usually find that women who do all online shopping hate to shop or feel like they don't have the time to shop or just don't like the idea. They've kind of given up a little bit on what to wear. So they just go buy what is easy and what they have lots of in their closet already, and they just replace it when it wears out. And they're not doing anything to really reflect who they are on the
Right.
inside. Now, I'm sure that's a gross generalization, but the women I have met, that's what they're doing.
Right. And in line with that, I really appreciate that you're bringing that forward, because in line with that goes another question I'd like to ask you, and that is about people who, just buy clothes that are too big just to cover their bodies, as opposed to really
Yeah.
appreciating and honoring their particular physique. So can you speak about that?
What often happens is that as we get older, our body shifts. Either we gain weight or our body just moves and all of a sudden we've got more weight in some area than we used to have, or we gain weight, or sometimes we lose weight. Something happens to our body so that it's not what it was when we were 20 or 30 years old. 20 or 30 years old. And so a lot of times if women have gained weight or the body has shifted, a lot of women over 50 end up with a tummy that they never used to have. Their waist isn't as defined as it once was. And so they no longer know exactly how to dress that body, or they're so aware that their waist isn't as small that they want to hide it. And so it's easy just to decide to throw on things that are too big, and like, okay, this camouflages everything. Nobody can see what's going on underneath there. But the problem is that always, always makes you look bigger than you are. And so if the whole point of this is that you're feeling bigger than you want to feel, and then you put something really big on top of that, you're going to make yourself look 2 to 3 times larger. So you're actually just making the issue worse instead of figuring out how to dress your new body. And it's always because someone isn't happy with their body that they go and they buy the things that are too big, when really it's doing them no favors at all. You want
Right.
clothes that fit you well, that aren't too big or too small, and that will always make you look and feel taller, slimmer, happier, all of that. The too big stuff needs to go.
And also, I think that women of our age, are trying to wear the latest current fashion, and it just might not fit their body type.
That's true.
They're trying to
Yes.
just it's like a square peg in a round hole. It's just not working, like.
Or you have to be very creative in how you do it. I have one of my clients, she's 80. I've been shopping with her for nearly 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And there's this one little boutique place that we go to that she loves. And she says, because I always get things that are current there. Now, as you know, cropped tops have been in for a while. Now she's 80. She's not going to wear a cropped top, right? But we found a way for her to wear a cropped top. We got a black tank top that came down long, and then we had a
Perfect.
blue crop top over it. And we put a pretty necklace with it. She wore skinny pants, and she felt like $1,000,000. So she was on trend, but not looking like she was trying to be 17, which would have been scary.
Yeah.
Actually, often when we're around the 50 mark, it's really hard to tell, like, what's age appropriate, what isn't. If your body can still wear some of the things that you could wear when you were 20. Should you still wear them? And you also, I talk about this in my book a little bit. There seems to be in the world of fashion things that are designed for, a teenage rock star and things that are designed for Nana. And how do we find those things in the middle that still say we're youthful and we're vibrant and we're alive and we're beautiful, but don't make us feel like we're 100 years old or 15 trying to be a teeny bopper? It gets tricky, but it is doable. So you can wear some of the trends, but very judiciously.
Right, right. And then can you speak a little bit about, so you're with your client maybe in her closet and you're gently guiding her to what she should literally remove from the closet.
Yes.
And then bringing in your comment just a moment ago about the trending thing. So then how you can retain a little bit of the wardrobe and then add the trendy thing to it so that you can sort of still stay a little bit in vogue, if that's even a word that's used anymore. But
well, it's all about, I'm not necessarily big on, as I'm sure you know, having to be real trendy. But we do need to give a nod to the trends so that we're not feeling like we're super outdated. So the other thing, just to go back to the thing about clothes that are oversized, some of my clients I have found the reason their clothes are oversized is that's what they were used to wearing back in the late 80s and early 90s, because that's how we wore clothes. We're a little bit oversized.
right.
And if they just haven't moved along with the changes in fashion, then things that are oversized feel natural to them. So it's really important that we have an awareness of what is in style. And for instance, in my blog, every season I write something called the Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered Fashion Update. So I take all the fashion trends for that season and I divide them into one of those categories so that women can look and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to leave that trend alone. She's bewildered by it, means it's not good. So, or this one sounds like fun and I can put a little bit of, animal print in or fringe and tassels are in right now. And, a little bit of those, if you're somebody who's a little funky or free-spirited or bohemian or unconventional, you may want to put a little bit of tassels or fringe somewhere on your handbag or on a skirt or something. And so when I'm in the closet with someone, first of all, we're always armed with their color palette, so we know what colors look great on them, with something I use called the Fashion Fit Formula, which is a fabulous tool for helping women to know what lengths things should be. So where should their neckline points come, their short sleeve length and 3/4 sleeve length and tops and skirts and coats and capris and all of that. What lengths should they be to balance your body? And then, of course, with their 4 inner beauty words. So as we go through their closet, we can look at something, and as she puts it on, the first thing that we look at is it the right color for you?
Right.
Does it really make you glow? And secondly, does it speak to your inner beauty? So is it like with Diane, who I showed you earlier, is it fun? Or delicate natural beauty, or both of those things. And if it isn't, then it's time for it to go. If it is, and it's a good color, then we look at fit. Does it fit you well, or does it need some tailoring? And then can you complete the outfit? And what shoes will you wear, and how will you accessorize? So we look at all of those things, and from there we make up a shopping list. Like, sometimes some of my clients will go through their accessories, and they've been wearing the same accessories for 5 years. So, oh, well, tassel, and I'm harping on tassels because they're just in right now, but it doesn't mean that's what you have to wear, but, you're fun. So a tassel necklace could be really fun on you. Let's add that in a pretty blue color because that's a great color for you. That kind of thing. So we can make up a shopping list.
Right.
And you can do this on your own. And in fact, actually, if you go to my website or you go to 10fashionsecrets.com, there's you can subscribe and receive my report that tells you the 10 10 things to keep you from wasting money in your closet. I forget the actual name of it, but the reason I'm telling you this is there is an e-course, a 4-week e-course in there that walks you through the steps to clean out your closet on your own, to get that process going, because you can't add new things into your closet if it's full of stuff that you're not wearing or you don't feel good about or you're not sure you should keep. You have to start to weed those things out in order to make room for the things that will really make you happy. But those are the steps that I use when I work with somebody in their closet.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I need you to come into my closet. I have,
It's
I
actually
have,
a really fun thing to do.
yeah, well, but for me, it's the guilt factor. It's like I feel guilty about throwing something away to just replace it. I just feel guilty. I think it's that old leftover Catholic guilt,
It is, and what can help that is when you understand why it doesn't work. So whether you go, oh my gosh, this color is terrible on me, or you know what, it doesn't, it's the wrong length and it's never going to be the right length, or it doesn't fit me properly, or it's too bold for my personality, or whatever. Once you can understand why something doesn't work, it's easier to let it go, to donate it, to give it away, and feel okay about it, and know that you won't make that mistake again, because you'll know, oh, that pattern is way too bold. I just got rid of something that was those heavy geometrics, and that's just not for me, so I'm not going to buy that this time. It gives you information for going forward. So really important to begin cleaning out and to understand why something doesn't work, so that you won't make that mistake again. And if you're not sure you're ready, if you look at something and you go, you know what, I'm just not loving this, but I feel badly about getting rid of it, pack it away. Just put it in a box and pack it away. And you can revisit it in 6 months or a year or 2 years and see if you feel the same way about it, or see if all of a sudden you love it again, or you have something that will work with it, or if then you understand why it doesn't work, so you're ready to let go of it. Just get it out of your current wardrobe closet, so that you're not either always feeling guilty and badly about it, or it's just taking up space in there.
Right.
So got to move those things out.
Yeah. Great. Okay. I'm inspired to do just that.
Yay.
So, you know what, Ginger, I'd like to kind of move into a little bit of a different subject here, and that is not subject, but just what about the 50-plus woman and the meanings that she's making about style and fashion magazines and all the media? I mean, how do we navigate that?
You shut it off. Actually, you might be shocked to know that I do not get any fashion magazines.
Wow.
I subscribe to none. I will look at them at my when I'm getting my hair colored. I will read them then. If I see anything that I think is interesting, I jot it down and I go research it when I get home. But what I have found is that nearly all of them are focused on being young, thin, tall and thin.
Right.
And that, for most of us, that's not, at least one of those things is no longer true. And for over 50, it's not that we're young at heart, but we're not what they call young, which is, like 18 to 22 or something. And the clothes that we see in the fashion magazines, to be honest with you, mostly are not particularly doable or attractive, I think, to women over 40 or 50. Most of what I see in there looks messy, and I don't know. It tells us that there's something wrong with us, and I don't often find, even though I know they're trying to, it doesn't usually give you answers. I find that most women just feel badly reading it, like, oh yeah, I'm an apple shape. Okay, but I also have broad shoulders, or there's other things that go along with it, and so they might get one component of it right, but then the other, something else seems off. So, and in the media, it is all youth obsessed. And so I find that I ignore a lot of it. I just did an article actually on my blog about some of the fashion icons over 40, or who I see as role models. And Jamie Lee Curtis was one of them. I mean, she's someone who just really believes in embracing who you are. And I love this. She says, she's fierce about things. She's fierce about her passion for helping women. She's fierce about her family. She's fierce about anything that she throws herself into. So for her, fierceness is really important and empowering. And Sarah Jessica Parker, I mean, she has that more delicate, persona, And she's somebody who we think of in 4-inch stilettos, and yet she talks about going casual and wearing flats, and just evolving with her age and her lifestyle and all of that. And so I prefer to take my insights and uh, purpose, if you will, in dressing from women who are more around my age. I mean, give a nod to the trends, really important, but not get stuck in the fact that I'm no longer 20, and I don't love my legs, and I can't wear real mini skirts, and that kind of thing. I think we really have to kind of surround ourselves with positive images and positive role models.
Right. I just remembered as you were talking about late night TV. About a week ago, I was so excited to just happen to turn the channel and see Jane Pauley on her show, and she had about 7 men surrounding her, and they were all in the advertising business, and they were talking about how the demographic is changing, and that the people who are buying and the women who are buying are in the 40 to 65, 70 age range. So I just remember that, and it's like, yay!
It's like, wake up, fashion designers. Come on, who's really got the disposable income? I know young people will always buy clothes, but you know what? It's the women over 40 who have the power and have the money. So will you please pay attention to us? And we don't want to be frumpy, and we don't want to feel like we're 100 years old, and we don't want to wear all black, okay? So could you make this happen? You're right. It's so frustrating when they try to focus on youth, when it's those of us over 40. And you know what? If anybody out there listening is a shoe designer, if you will make shoes that are narrower in the heel and wider in the front, you will be a billionaire within a year. I can predict it, because nearly to a person, the women I know have trouble, myself included, have trouble finding shoes that don't fall off our feet, because our feet have gotten slightly wider in the front but have stayed narrow in the back. We need something that looks like that design for our foot. So you know what? It's at some point, just like years ago, when the designers woke up and realized that not every woman was a size 12 or under and started making plus size fashions, thank goodness. Now, if someone pays attention to the fact that not every woman who's buying clothes is 20 years old, the women over 40 want to get dressed too and want to look great and have the money to spend.
Yes, and we are the best resource. We are the greatest resource, and we need to tap into it more and more so that we can literally, as I was saying in the beginning, really access our deepest desires and give our gifts. So when we are feeling good about ourselves, loving ourselves, and then having that reflected in our outer wear, then, we become rock stars.
We're unstoppable.
We're unstoppable. I love that.
You got it.
I love that.
Yes.
Well, Ginger, I could talk to you all day and all night. I've so enjoyed this. But we do have a little bit of a time limit, and I want to make sure that you get to tell our viewers about what your free gift is.
Yes. If you go to 10fashionsecrets.com, it is the free gift that I'm forgetting the name of, which is, it has to do with not wasting money on clothes you never wear. There we go.
Yeah.
How to not waste money on clothes you never wear. And it will tell you the 10 steps for making that true for you, so that you're spending your money wisely and making choices that you really love. So 10fashionsecrets.com. And if you want to read my blog, you can go to totalimageconsultants.com and check out all the articles that I have on there as well.
Wonderful. Oh, and I just urge everyone to check out Ginger's website. It is so much fun and so informative and so full of grace.
Thank you.
As are you. And you've been such a pleasure. I cannot thank you enough, Ginger. Thank you for all the really wonderful, tangible takeaways you've given our audience.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you for doing this, because it really does inspire women. And you know what? As we talked about, we are empowered and unstoppable. And thank you for helping us all reignite our life over 50.
Thank you so much, Ginger. Take care.
Thank you.